Hi, welcome back to This Mama Loves, and I'm Lauri, and I thought I would do a weigh-in day. It's been a long time since I've done a weigh-in video. I'm pretty sure over a year, and I just wanted to talk about some things. I've made several videos within the past few months that I just never posted. What I eat in a days and uh, even like a recap or like a catch up or whatever video. And they never saw the light of day. um, so I thought first I would discuss that. Um, this past year and change has been rough for many of us. And it was particularly rough on me, and even harder for me to come to terms with that, to even realize how much stress I had been under. Um, you know, my youngest started school last year. Um, she's been in a school setting before we moved out to Michigan when we lived in Indiana. She was going to a daycare, which is where my oldest girl used to go. And they are like a classroom setting daycare. I'm saying a lot. You start off, like a few months old. They can start, I think, at 3 months. They take them at 3 months, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, I did it again. Anyways, but as you get older, you move on from class to class to class, ultimately leading into a preschool setting class where you're having now structured lessons, but still you're having your free time. They still had naps, things like that. So she went there for about 2 years, almost 3 years, I guess, because I think she was 3 when we moved out here, or turning 3 when we moved out here. And so she had been in there for, no, yeah, about 2 years, I think. About 2 years, almost 3 years. So she had that, but that was, 1 and 2. She just doesn't remember any of that. So she was going to start kindergarten last year, but, such as things were, um, they, by the end of the last school year, not this one that just passed, earlier in 2020, they moved to online. So my oldest girl was doing online from March until that year ended. And then when fall came around, they were doing online for like the first month or first few weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. And then they went in on a hybrid schedule to stagger the students. While my youngest did completely online. And while I saw her flourish in that time, she became more social, opening up a little bit. I also saw her ultimately learning how to read words. She was always doing well with her numbers, but even further beyond what she needed to know. So ultimately, by the end of that school year, she actually was at a pretty good place. She wasn't behind. She actually went above whatever the target was. So she was in a good space. But while she had daily meets with her teacher, predominantly the work was on me to help facilitate her lessons. And it was time consuming. It was like I was a teacher. I really was. Where there were even times, because as I got her to learn to take breaks, because she would get frustrated when she felt like she wasn't picking up something fast enough, in her opinion. And she would get frustrated, and then she's really not going to pick it up once she's frustrated. And so eventually we were able to get her to learn to take breaks. Well, that also would make things stretch out, go longer, and oftentimes I found that I was just finishing up her work and it would be like almost 5 o'clock. My husband would be home soon. I hadn't even got dinner started, things like that. It was just a very hard time. Also trying to help my youngest, I'm sorry, not my youngest, but my oldest with her stuff because she was just starting middle school. And the transition of the expectation, workload, and things like that was difficult for her as well. And it was just, you know, my husband was working and he has a job that's with the public. Since then, he's gotten a promotion and he actually he had the promotion earlier in the year just before things went real crazy, but he was still in contact with people, and um, ultimately he got sick, which got me sick. And the girls, Deanna had no symptoms. Isabel, she just had a fever and it would hover anywhere between 102 and 100. She would have a fever for like 2 weeks. That was her only thing. I had it worse out of everyone, to the point where I thought at some point I'm going to have to go to the hospital because I was having trouble breathing. But ultimately, it didn't come down to that. But my recovery took longer than even my husband, who initially was the initial one to get sick. And not that he didn't have pretty bad symptoms too. We were pretty much out of commission for 2 weeks. Me, it took longer to recover than my husband. It was months before my breathing was right, where even reading a bedtime story to Isabel would wind me. I would have to stop and, like, catch my breath, things like that. I still suffer from the brain fog where words escape me a lot, where they didn't before. I've always had a bad memory, but it's next level now. It's really next level where I'm forgetting everything, even conversations I've had where a few minutes ago I might have asked a question, then I'm asking that question again, and my husband's like, we already talked about this. You already, you know. So the year was a stressful year. I'm stressed out because I'm trying my best to protect my girls. So they very infrequently come into stores with me. They're masked up all the time, and it creates a lot of worry for me. My husband, he's out there in the world too, and he's not a mask person. Even though we're all vaccinated, me, him, and my oldest daughter, but I'm a worrier. I get that from my grandmother. Anyways, it took a mental toll on me where I was starting to notice myself snapping, becoming more snappy, more anxious, and just stressed. So I've come to realize I need to work on myself, not just the physical outward portion of me, but mentally. So I've brought a few journals or journaling things. Some I have in the bedroom, but I'll show these two that I found in Barnes and Nobles. So I brought How to Be Calm, and it really is just, these are not journaling, but you know, little things inside. Like, okay, so how I think I'm going to use them is I'll just turn to a page, see what it tells me. So you have, like on this page, it says cultivate peace, commit to peace. On the next page, it says insist on it. Stop a moment, cease your work, look ahead, not look ahead, look around you. Let peace be your middle name. Then you have like, it has some visualizations. Let your worries float away, and there's a visualization associated with that. So I bought this one, and then they had a few others. Then I got How to Be Mindful, and is a similar vein as the other book. It's written by the same author. So in this one, there's the greatest step towards a life of simplicity is to learn to let go. There's a digital detox and suggested, what to do to digitally detox. Um, start This one tells you to start a daily gratitude journal. List all the positive things in your life, from the small things that make you smile, such as the view from your window, to the bigger things, such as your health or your family. At night, list 3 things you are grateful for during the day, and you'll soon start focusing naturally on the positives. So I'm going to work with these. I also have guided journals. I have in my planner a section, I have a wellness section where I think I'm going to start journaling in there as well. But I have in there, in that wellness section, also a guided journal. So this is from the Happy Planner. And I have, in this one, you write the date, which habit was your focus today, what 3 healthy choices you made today, which activities did you accomplish today, and you have what habit, and then this is like the next day, same thing. So then on one, it was like healthy choices. Another one, it says 3 things you're loving about yourself. What made you feel energized today? And then they have a daily reflection on each page. So on one page, your daily reflection is what challenges did you face today? How did or did not you overcome those challenges? And on the next page, your daily reflection is remind yourself why you are on this journey. And so like each page has like a different thing to focus on. One is on this day, you're going to focus on your victories. You're going to list 3 victories. What activities did you accomplish today? On the next page, what are 3 areas you can improve on this week? What made you feel motivated today? And again, this bottom section has other daily reflections. So yeah, so I have about 2 months worth of that in here. And I think one is more health. I think that one was more health. And then this one is more emotional work. So you have like the beginning of your week, 5 things I'm loving this week, 1 area I would like to grow in, little things that bring me joy, simple ways I can be kinder to others, your intentions for the week, what empowered me today. So that, and then on a day thing, you're going to write how you feel, what empowered me today, how I helped someone today, today's highlights, today's low moments, and then I have a section for daily gratitude. So I'm going to start working on these journaling prompts as well. Plus in my wellness planner that they have here. I'm going to also start journaling in here. And I'm just really going to tackle from this point on self-help and self-care. So there's that. Also, we had, and I've mentioned in past videos, we had a puppy. She ultimately, we wound up having to give her away to someone else who can handle her needs. And it just simply was not fair for her, because she's a very energetic breed, a very anxious breed as well. And she needs, or was in need of, more space to be able to roam free, like maybe a backyard. We don't have a backyard per se, not a fenced in backyard anyways. She just needed an environment that we could not provide for her. And it took a big toll on the family to have to come to this decision and to give her away. And it really hit my husband the hardest. And eventually, someone told him of their son had a cat that had kittens. And so he came to me with the idea of getting a kitten, which he's not a cat person, which I was very shocked that he even had this idea. I am more of a cat person, and I've had cats all my life. And but we discussed it. I wanted to make sure that this was something he really wanted to do. And ultimately, we got a kitten. And he's running around out there right now playing in the living room. He may or may not make an appearance. Sometimes he likes to sit on my desk and look out the window. Or when my husband's home, he'll sit on his desk and look out his window. Right now, he's playing with, I don't even know what, but I can hear him in there. He's been a great addition to the family. The girls love him too. My husband adores him. There I go again with the anyways. But yeah, it's just been a very stressful year, and it reflected in my weight. So moving on to that portion of the video, my weight was a struggle. Maintaining the plan on Weight Watchers was a struggle. I particularly struggled at night when I'm in my thoughts. I stay up late because I do have trouble falling asleep. Plus, it gives me time to myself. I need to dye my hair again. Look at my roots and my grays. Anyways, it gives me also time to myself. But in that time to myself, I'm, watching my shows. I'm then feeling snacky, but I'm not getting a snack. Sometimes I'm getting a meal. I'll make a sandwich. I'll have chips. I'll have popcorn. I'll go grab some ice cream. And that's all in one evening. And I could do well all day long. And then by late night, I just crash and burn. And it was like, okay, you know what? I've made a mess of this week. And it could be Wednesday, okay? My weigh-in is on Saturdays. I've made a mess of this week. I'm going to just do what I do this week. I'll start back fresh next week. And the first few days I would do okay. And then I would crash and burn. And then I'm like, next week. And then I was like, well, that's not working for me. I'm getting back on the horse the next day. In that moment, right? Next day, all right, we're starting a fresh day. I'm doing good. I'm okay. Late at night, crash and burn. And this was just a vicious cycle. So at one point earlier this year, I decided to put myself in maintenance. And actually, I think it was I started the end of last year into going into this year. I can't remember why. But I put myself into maintenance. And actually, no, yeah, the first time I did it was around the holidays. And then I felt okay. I felt like I was doing pretty okay. And then I would go back into weight loss mode, and I'd be all right for like the first week or so. And then I would just go back downhill. And what I was seeing was I was gaining up to 8 pounds, I think, back and forth, like fluctuating. Um, I would lose, I would gain, I would lose within this 8 pound range. I would gain, I would lose, I would gain, I would lose, I gain, I would lose. Okay, so earlier this year, I again put myself back into maintenance. And if I was doing fine in maintenance, actually even lost weight in maintenance, which told me, girl, you are not doing this program right at all if you're losing on maintenance. I would go back into weight loss, and I would be okay for the first week or two again. So I had a good long look at myself, and I came to some decisions. One, I could not continue on this path. It was not healthy. I'll never reach my goal if I continue this. And I was just wreaking havoc on my body at that point. Also, earlier this year, I injured my arm. I slipped and fell on ice in January, and I injured my, rotator cuff. So I had problems like lifting my arm. This was not a thing I could do. I could only get about this much in range of motion, or going this way was a little bit better, but outwards. And I feel like a little twinge even now, but nothing like, I still have the motion. I can do it now. It was months before I got to a place where I could have that range of motion again. So I fell off of exercising, which I wasn't doing often anyway, like once or twice a week. Because of that injury, I just completely stopped exercising. It was hard. So I had the lack of exercise coupled with the fluctuating in eating, and it was not working, basically. So where was it? August going into September, I again decided to put myself on maintenance, to take the stress of weight loss off of the table and figure out what is going on, what is really happening with me. And that's when I came to the realization I need to work on myself. I have definitely been impacted emotionally and mentally by all of what's going on, and I need to come to terms with that and work out a plan of action on how to work through that. And that's when I got those books, pulled out my wellness planner, and decided, okay, let's work on myself. So I have not done that yet. I'm going to start, but I have it all set up and ready to go. I worked on that. While I also was in maintenance, I decided to stop being afraid of using my weekly points, because what I would do, or what I had been doing, was really I would use my weeklies on my weigh-in day. So I would just eat whatever on my weigh-in day. And when I tell you whatever, it is a day I was not getting a blue dot. Definitely. And what was happening was it would pour into weigh-in day on Saturday and also on Sunday. And by the time Monday starts, I would have very little weeklies left. And so what that did was I would, during the day, try to eat as low points as I could, or just try not to go over the 23 points threshold that I had. Well, by doing that, I was going over and then some, because then I would start binging at night and snacking and all these other things and yada, yada, yada. So this last time that I put myself on maintenance, I decided not to be afraid of those weeklies and to incorporate weeklies throughout the week, as opposed to really killing my weeklies on the weekends, and then the weekdays just trying to stay in the 23 point range and failing at it. And so what I have done is, while on maintenance, I did lose weight. There were a couple of weeks that I maintained weight, but initially I lost a little weight. And when I came out of maintenance, it was with a new understanding of the plan and how that plan fit me. And so now, on the weekends, I'll still have treat meals, but it won't be the whole day is a treat day, or all of Saturday and Sunday are treat days, and I would just go ham. More often than not, I would remain within a blue dot. Sometimes one of those 2 days, I might not make the blue dot, and that's fine. But I would go into the rest of the week with a good amount of weekly points, even if it's like 20 something, because that was more than what I would have prior before this, So I would have weeklies to play with. In fact, this week, I think I have a good amount of weeklies left. This week, I'm sitting at 33 weeklies right now, weekly points, and it's Wednesday. So that is a record for me. Let's put that. Okay. What I've also been doing is I have been tracking everything. Everything. So what I mean by that is, what I would typically do is I might go into the pantry, take maybe 2 cheese puffs, those Cheetos cheese puffs, pop those in my mouth, not track it. Later on that day, I might go get like 1 or 2 potato chips, not track it, or even some peanuts. I would get like, not a handful of peanuts, but a few, maybe 10 peanuts, honey roasted peanuts, because if I'm going to eat peanuts, it's going to be honey roasted peanuts, and it is what it is. But I would take a handful of that, or maybe like 10 or 15, pop those in my mouth, not track them. I stopped that. On occasion, I might still kind of slip back into that kind of thing, but I catch myself, and I might not, like if I get the cheese puffs, I might not have tracked the 2 cheese puffs, but I realize, Lauri, you're doing it. Stop. And then sometimes I will go back and track those cheese puffs, or I'll realize, no. Anything else, put it in that tracker. So I have been getting better with that. It still is a work in progress, but for the most part, I'm doing pretty well with that. Tracking it all. Period. So, late night, I bring my phone with me. And anything I'm going to put in my mouth late at night, I'm weighing and I'm measuring and I'm tracking. And I will tell you, case in point, I had some snacks last night. In total for the day, I had 17 points worth of snacks. Now, breakfast, I had a 0 point breakfast. I had a 5 point lunch. I had an 8 point dinner. So between that, I was sitting at, what is that, 13 points? Yeah, 13 points for the day. And I did have the rest of the bag of Funyuns that I had. I had 3 points worth of that. I measured it out, weighed it out, I mean. Now, last night, I had one of those mini bags, those fun size bags of peanut M&Ms. That was 4 points. I had some popcorn. I popped some popcorn for 2 points. The white popcorn. Over Redenbacher, you can get 2 tablespoons of the kernels to pop, and that's 2 points. I think a tablespoon gives you like a cup of popcorn. So I had 2 tablespoons of the kernels. And I have a spray butter that I use and popcorn salt. So I had 2 points worth of popcorn, and then I decided I wanted some pretzels. So I had 3 points worth of pretzels. They're the Snyder's, the itty bitty mini pretzels. So it was an ounce for 3 points, which it looks like a lot. So I was okay with that. Well, I don't know why. I was craving bagel chips. So I mixed some Philadelphia reduced fat chive and onion cream cheese. I had weighed out 1 point's worth of that, and I weighed out 1 points of the Philadelphia the jalapeno cheddar dip. So that was a 2 point dip I made. I had 3 points worth of the Stacy's bagel chips, the Simply Naked bagel chips, and that's how I finished off my evening. But I did not go to bed right away on that. It was like a couple of hours later, and I went to bed. So when I got on the scale this morning, which it's not my weigh-in day, so I'm not counting this, but I was down like 0.5, I think, from yesterday. So it didn't do damage. Now, I'm pretty sure if I didn't have any of that, it would have reflected better on the scale than that. But it wasn't a gain, nor was it a maintain. So I am happy and content with that. And a part of myself actually told myself, don't weigh yourself. Because if you see a gain, you're going to sabotage yourself. But I didn't. I was okay. So I'm going to tell you, this past month, I have been back on weight loss mode for about a month now. And I'm going to tell you how that's been looking. I pressed the wrong thing. So, for the past month, I have had a loss. It's not a huge loss. So, going back to September 11th, I was down 0.3 pounds. The next week, I was down 0.4. The week after that, I was down 1.5. And then this last weigh-in day, I was down 0.7 this Saturday. So, what is that, like 3 pounds-ish? Almost 3 pounds. 2.9 pounds down this past month. And I am okay with that. The month before, I had lost some, but I had two weigh-ins that I did gain. And this was also off of maintenance. So coming off of maintenance, I had lost... Okay, this was on maintenance. This was on maintenance. So August, I was on maintenance. Coming off of maintenance, that last week on maintenance, I did gain 0.8, and then that following week, I did gain 0.5. Put myself back into weight loss mode, and that's when I started losing the 0.3, the 0.4, 0.5, and the 0.7. So this is a rare, this had not happened for quite some time for me, where I have consistently lost weight 4 weeks in a row at this point. No, they're not big numbers, but it's a loss. I don't care if it's a 0.1. It's a loss, and I'm going to take it. So I am back to being, now before all of what happened, I was down. I think I was at the one point where I was down 22 pounds. And that was in February. I was down 22 pounds. And then that's when everything started fluctuating. And then I had gained to the point where I was no longer 22 pounds down. I was 16 pounds down. So that's what, a gain of, I think it was 8. 8, 4, 5, 6. A gain of 6 pounds. So I was playing with 6 pounds for the past year, back and forth, adding on, taking off, adding on, taking off. So I am back up to a 20-pound loss. And I'm happy with that. And am I going to always have a loss? Probably not. I might have weeks again where I gain. But I'm now seeing, one, using the weeklies, which in a way which I'm sure is how they were intended to be used, not being afraid to use them, to incorporate them during the week. And I'm seeing how that's having a greater benefit on me with the program. Learning some of the things that I've just been ignoring about myself, and, mental health, self-help kind of thing, and having a plan of action to work on that. So that's my catch up. So I have been steadily losing these past 4 weeks, and I am very happy with that. So my last weigh-in, I was down, what did I say, 0.7. So I'm happy with that. I will do my best to do a weigh-in Wednesday as best I can. It probably won't be as chatty as this one, but I figured I would also incorporate what I had shared in past videos that I never even posted. So just as a catch up as to where I'm at and why I've made the adjustments I've made and where I'm going from there. So anyways, I hope this was insightful, maybe even helpful. I hope you like it or appreciate the video. And if you're not, please subscribe. If you did like the video, please give it a thumbs up. And I would love to hear from you, any comments. How have you been dealing with this past year and change? How has it affected you? Have you come out on the other side? Are you still working through some things? Any suggestions? I would love to hear it. So I hope to see you again soon. Bye.